I'm Michael Berryman. I'm here at Darkside Riverside, and we're going to be answering your questions. I had just finished doing my second film, which was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and after 4 months, I came back home to Santa Monica, and I got a phone call to go meet a gentleman by the name of Peter Locke, the executive producer of The Hills Have Eyes, along with Berryman, the other producer, and a gentleman who was very talented named Wes Craven, delightful fellow. So we were going to do a takeoff of the McBean family, and it's kind of an urban legend. And then we went out to the desert, and we shot in 16 millimeter. Didn't have much of a budget, and just went nuts. The challenging part was working on Hills was, number one, it was real hot in the daytime, which was tough, and at night it was cold, which I liked very much. It was very physical, a lot of running, jumping, a lot of tight handheld shots, the interiors of the trailer, for instance. So we had to learn to work as a team, giving Wes the tension that he wanted, the emotional content of the characters, the believability of the cannibal family versus the white bread family. And we had a short, we didn't have a long time to make the film. In other words, we were limited for just a few weeks. So it was basically what you would call combat filmmaking. Just set up the shot and go for it. And we tried to make it as real as possible. I think we succeeded. Well, in Hills Have Eyes Part 2, we had a different producer alongside with Peter Locke, and it was a slightly different perspective. We had different equipment. We had the HMI lights, which gave it more color saturation. We also had a backstory of when Ruby, Janice Blythe, actually is working with the motocross racers, and of course they missed the deadline for what is it, daylight savings times. Of course, it's your typical, they take a shortcut, things are going to go wrong when they do that. One of the coolest things about working on Hills 2 was, for me, kind of tongue-in-cheek, was that not only when Ruby is telling the story about the original Hills Have Eyes story, there's memories, and the German Shepherd actually has a flashback, which I thought was very, very cool. We had a lot of fun working on that, and it was nice to have more of a budget. And Wes Craven was very articulate, very calm, great sense of humor, and wicked sharp. He knew exactly what he wanted. So it was a nice follow-up. I think it was a decent sequel. Now, Rogero Deodato, I don't know if you're familiar with his history. He's a wonderful director. The cinematography is spot on. But basically, I had an agent, and he says, "Hey, I've got a film for you. We're going to film in South America, and it has a wonderful cast: Willie Ames, Lisa Blount, Richard Lynch, Karen Black, and me, and the Amazon." So we went down to Venezuela. We got to meet Hugo Chavez. That was very interesting. Share some stories, and he threw us a lovely dinner. And then we went down to an area called Guyana. Not only did we film in the Amazon, which is exotic and wonderful, it's the lungs of the earth. I'm a big fan of nature. Please don't cut it all down. One of the concepts of cut and run was, for me, was to appreciate the canopy. I'm a big fan of a movie called The Emerald Forest. Just being able to be in that area and to appreciate the lushness and the beauty was very satisfying for me. It was a very action-based film, and I got to meet some incredible human beings. Richard Lynch was one of them. We had some time off, and we were down in where the Orinoco River meets the Caribbean River, Brown River versus the Blue River. If you ever watch what's it called, River Monsters with Jeremy Wade, he has been to that area. So there was a scene I had to do in a river, which was silty and muddy. And after a few hours of filming, coming up out of the water and slightly drowning someone or attacking them, I go to sit down on a log, and one of our Indios guys, you have to understand, we're like an hour away from first aid kit, health. So there were snakes that could kill you. So I go to sit down on a log, and right next to where I'm going to sit is a fertile ant, a very deadly pit viper. So our Indios guys takes a machete, kills it, and he goes, "Oh, Poco Caroni, little brown snake." And I go, "Oh, now I'm kind of nervous. I've been here for a couple of weeks," and I'm going, "The spiders are as big as your head. There's snakes. There's electric eels." And when the guy said electric eel, I go, "What do you mean electric eel? There's no piranha in the river because this is silty. They like clear water." And he goes, "No, electric eel. They like the mud." I mean, like where I was for like an hour and nobody bothered to tell me or poke around with a stick, make sure there's no eels. And he goes, "Oh yeah, they taste really good. We take a horse when they start to fire up, they shake the horses, and we gap them, and they're really good eating." I go, "I'll be right back." I went over to my director and I said, "You didn't bother to check the river for electric eels, so I'm very upset with you." I was about 215 pounds, all muscle back then. I'm older now. And I just picked him up over my head and I threw him in the river. Gets back out, typical Italian fashion. Goes, "Marco, what's the matter? Why are you doing this to me? I don't understand." And I said, "Well, I told you I feel unsafe." He goes, "Marco, you're my most favorite actor." He does one of these things, typical Italian. He goes, "Marco, look, you get bit by snake, I get bit by snake. Electric eel, kill you, kill me. Every day, anything can happen. Are we okay?" And I go, "Oh, all right." So it was just back and forth, love-hate relationship. It gave great tension, but again, he makes beautiful films. So it was an adventure. I was so glad to get home when I landed in Miami. I actually got off the plane and kissed the tarmac. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I was really glad to be home. But it's an adventurous film, and you wouldn't know this unless I told you, but Richard Lynch, God bless you, I miss you, brother. Richard Lynch was playing a character who was kind of a bad guy and a little whacked out, kind of like Jim Jones kind of guy. Well, in order to satisfy his curiosity for building the character study for his role, he actually took 2 days off on a weekend and went upriver to find Mengele, who is still alive, believe it or not. Now he comes back on Sunday night, and Friday night he said, "If I don't show up for work Monday, tell everyone I love them, I care, but this is my adventure, don't tell anybody." So Sunday night he comes back, he's alive, and he's sitting at the bar, he's staring like this, and I tell the bartender, whatever he's having. I take a shot, I think it was rum, take a shot, and I go, "Richard, how'd it go? You're back." And he goes, "Yes, Richard Lynch. He could have had me killed at any moment." "Oh, well that didn't happen. What did you do?" We drank rum all night long, and we discussed philosophy and the human condition. Now this is a gentleman who, by the way, years before, was one of the most handsome men in all of film, very famous Richard Lynch. He was upset about our country's involvement in Southeast Asia, mostly because of Occidental petroleum, not communism. Hello. Somebody wanted, the rights to drill for oil, make money. Well, so he went to Toronto, or it might have been Montreal, I forget which. I think it might have been Montreal. He went out into a public square and he said, "I am an actor, I'm a civilian, I am a member of the human race, and as my country's involvement in Southeast Asia, I would like to say I am so sorry." Took gasoline, poured it on his head, and set himself on fire. My point in saying this is the following. Some people live a passionate life. Be one of those people. Don't set yourself on fire, but have that fire inside your heart and soul to wake up in the morning and make a difference in your life and the lives of others around you. Make it a day worth living, because tomorrow, we never know. Well, Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects, again, I got the role through my agent, my manager. She also reps another gentleman who was in it, my good friend Bill Mosley. And I'd never worked for Rob before. I like music. I was unfamiliar with his music, but he's a good director, and the story was solid. Firefly family, it all makes sense. I love the ending, the peck and paw, free bird playing in the car, slow motion, as they're getting shot. I I liked working with Rob because he gave me the freedom to create, cleave on in his own manner, and I had a good time. I did find the gentleman who was doing the chicken scene and created that chaos because he went off script, but Rob kind of nodded off to the side, like go with it. So I didn't really appreciate what he was doing, but I was creative enough to make it funny and to still keep the character in a focus that was true to how he would be reacting. So sometimes my point is somebody will go off script and you go with it, and it creates a moment, and everybody is pretty on board with the chicken scene. So I'm here at Darkside Riverside, chatting it up with my buddy here, putting this out on the internet. What I'm doing right now, this winter and early spring, is to finish my autobiography. It's my life story from my very first memory before I had skull surgery as a child. It talks about how my father went to Hiroshima, came home radiated, I was born with birth defects, how I managed to get through my youth, and it's just chronological about my life, and it's straight up honest, no BS. It's exactly how things came about, all the way up to present. I'm at 127 pages right now. But the thing that matters the most to me in telling my life story is the connection I have with the reader and other people that would be influenced by, because it's very honest, and I want everybody to wake up. You have a new day, make the best of it, and remember, you make your own best choices, and sometimes it's good to find new friends, if you know what I mean. So may you always look in the mirror and be pleased with the image that you see, not visually, but have compassion and be gentle with yourself. Tomorrow's a new day. Peace out. Live long and prosper.